Welcome to Classic Heart, the BMW Group Classic podcast. My name is JP, and my guest today is, I would say, a Swedish icon.
This car is the most honest car you ever see.
It's been a dream ever since I've had it.
The first time I heard that engine screaming, I thought, I gotta have one of those.
It's the joy of driving.
What's great about a BMW Classic is the community that surrounds it.
When you listen to that, that's why we're here.
Please welcome Christian from Koenigsegg.
Well, nice to be here, JP, and my great pleasure, really.
Thank you very much, because we do this under very, let's say, challenging circumstances, the shooting, because we're doing this recording at the Aurora Concours in Båstad, Sweden, which is kind of your home for Koenigsegg, but we'll come to that later. But it is a fantastic show, actually.
It is amazing. I mean, this is the second year it's been put on. We're helping a little bit from our side, since our home for Koenigsegg is 25 minutes away from here, and it's just one of the most beautiful settings. So when some friends came up with the idea, let's do a concourse here, we said, yes, that's a really good idea. And this is the second year, and it's really taken off. And we have people from all over the world coming and bringing their cars and just coming together, enjoying the spirit of automotive, history, fashion, old-timers, hypercars, you name it.
Everything. And I mean, the variety is the beauty of this event, because to understand the event a bit better, because being somehow also on a minor stage involved in this event, I feel comfortable describing this event because I have your support on that. Because the Aurora is something fantastic, because we're combining the world of vintage and classic cars with the world of mega cars. Some use hypercars, but we agreed on that the word hypercar, we're not big fans, both of us, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds a bit hyper, doesn't it?
It sounds a bit hyper, and hyper can go away, and mega stays, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. And we kind of came up with the idea of mega car when we introduced the 1-to-1, which was the world's first production car with 1 megawatt of power.
Yes.
So that we said there is now mega cars as well.
Okay, so I think we should agree on mega cars. I'm totally with you. Even though we had a class which is called mega, hyper, that goes as big kudos to Scooter for the song. But
right.
We are sitting here also in a very special setting in between the big Aurora event, which is held in Nordviken, and sorry for all Swedish-speaking people.
No, it sounds
for
good.
My worst Swedish
you're good
expression. Yeah, because BMW has been the partner of this event from the start off, and we thought we should bring something special. And as we know, something that BMW Classic is very good at is really like pushing the story of the art cars, which are regular cars, race cars, that have been given to fantastic artists. That is the basic story.
Yeah, I think BMW really pioneered this idea,
yes,
and others have followed, but for sure they own it, I would say.
And I mean, it's really and big thank you to BMW Sweden, because that's without them we couldn't be here. So thank you very much, and also the BMW Classic team. But now, I mean, cars are art, and I think your cars are engineering pieces of art, and art as well in terms of design and looks, and timeless.
Well, thank you. I agree that it's for sure a sculpture, and to me it's very much an artistic process.
Yeah.
The thought process, the creation, the combination of beautiful shapes and lines, but then you have this other aspect of performance. But performance is also art in my mind. Is that the driver is an artist playing a musical instrument in a way, or an instrument at least, that in itself is art. So it's all these kind of different angles. And then of course when you make an art car, you put another wild layer of artistry on top.
Yes, definitely.
And you can argue maybe it hides the art underneath, or not, and so on. But that's a discussion that can be had. But for sure, as objects, when they are done as art cars, on top of everything becomes another dimension. And of course, everyone have seen these cars without the extra art on, so everyone knows what that is. It's very exciting.
It is very exciting. And I recall my first time when I was standing in front of an art car. It was actually at the Hockenheimring, if I'm not mistaken, because BMW Classic at that time invited some journalists. And so it was really like something where I said, okay, I'm in and have no clue about art cars. I was into cars, but I have no clue about the art cars, so I learned it. And then I saw this car first time, which is the BMW M1 Pro car,
yes.
which is been looking very unique because it has been hand-painted by the artist Andy Warhol.
It's incredible.
I think it really looks cool, actually.
It looks extremely cool. It looks extremely rough in its execution.
Yes.
But this car underneath is, of course, well, it's one of my absolute favorite cars.
Yeah.
The combination is a huge clash of emotions, I would say. But the end result also knowing the story of Andy Warhol, of course,
Yeah.
and the era and the time of everything. It's something extremely unique that can never be repeated.
I remember last year, so we do the parade of the classic cars and we do the parade of the hyper and modern mega cars. There are Ferraris, there are BMWs within in the classic section. And I stopped you because you were passing by in a Koenigsegg with your lovely wife, Haldora. And then I asked you, Christian, I mean, you're leading the pack here, but you're going to stay on stage. And of course you said yes, and I couldn't imagine something greater because you have to understand, Christian, and that's absolutely no fishing for anything, Christian is kind of a superstar here. So he can't really move then without anyone asking for an autograph because Koenigsegg is 100% Swedish company with an international team though.
Absolutely.
Everything is produced and built here and so on. So that meant a lot.
It's amazing. It's amazing. In the last 10 years or so, we have been very much embraced by the locals and Swedes alike from all takes and places. So it's very, very nice to have this kind of home support nowadays.
And the people love this part of the program that the founder and of Koenigsegg is so engaged and speaking about any other supercar, any other classic car in a sense, so or the future classic. And I think that makes you also very special and shows also your mindset a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, bottom down, I'm just a passionate car nerd.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I started doing what I'm doing. So I love many different types of cars, not only hyper and mega cars. I mean, I find any car fascinating in the sense of the freedom it gives. Having no car or the cheapest rusty bucket is a huge difference.
Definitely.
And the difference between the simplest car to the most extreme is much less than no car and the simplest one.
Yeah, I agree. Of course, I mean, let's face it, Koenigseggs are absolutely marvels of engineering. And as a small manufacturer, you can do things others can't do just because there's no ability to do so, but they're good in other things as well.
Of course, yes.
And that's the point.
I guess our advantage is that if I or we or the team comes up with an idea, there is no one stopping us. Apart from, I mean, regulation or whatever it might be, but we have that freedom of trying things that maybe would be difficult in a bigger organization.
Having said all this, I would like to jump back because we sat on a stage and there was a BMW M1 passing in the hypercar Concours at that time that we had because we consider it as a future classic, yes.
Absolutely.
And so on. And you said this is one of the cars that always been on your mind in a sense. I don't want to exaggerating this, but I mean, same with me.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually got from our Italian test driver at the time, who was part of the test driving team of the road version of the M1. I got a brochure of the M1, and I remember seeing this car as a kid, so I cherished that brochure, and I actually ended up giving that to our test driver because he was also an M1 fan, but. After a few years, but no, it's one of my favorite cars. I mean, the sculpture, the proportions, the shape of it is just timeless, classic, still kind of modern looking in many ways. I would say it's a very contemporary looking car, even though it's from the 70s.
And that's what I think is. I mean, it's the best of Italian engineering, well, because designed by an Italian designer. Engineered under the lead of Jochen Lerpasch, who was the one who was really bringing this program forward because they needed the pro car. This project really stands out. And we see the most radical, as you said, sheer version of it we see here. And I mean, remembering Niki Lauda driving in the M1 Pro Car series, all the big boys have been driven there and so on. And we are super proud to have this car here, showing to the public, showing to the young people who never heard maybe the name Warhol, telling the story.
Yeah, and to get it here to small Sweden, to the Aurora Concours, which is a new concourse, it's just amazing.
Yes.
That has been possible is, I think, blowing people's minds.
What would you say is your first automotive memory if you look back?
Yes, it's kind of a, I'm not sure if it's automotive or not, but
let's try.
Yeah, exactly. It's a Norwegian puppet movie.
Yes, really?
Yes, about a bicycle repairman. You know, stop motion. This was in the 70s, mid-70s.
Yeah.
I'm born 72, and I think I was 5-6 years old or something like that. And it is this bicycle repairman who lives on a small mountaintop in Norway. And his dream is to build a race car, and he has sketches and drawings on this, but he can't afford to do it. And then one of his helpers has a company called Aladdin Oil. And then he shows this sketch to this oil check and says, "Oh, that's the most exciting car I've ever seen. I will finance it." So then this bicycle repairman receives some funds and builds this car, which is a wild thing. It looks like, I don't know, a mix of a car from the 2030s with 70s technology. It has a radar on top. It has a 12-liter engine in the front, a rocket engine in the rear, and it runs on ethanol.
I mean, very visionary.
Exactly, and it is this race between the good and the bad, and they try to sabotage him, and then he goes and wins a Le Mans style kind of race, and it was just the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And to me, as a young kid, it was, I mean, it's not so easy to separate reality or this or that. It was just a fantastic story.
Yes.
And I apparently told my father, who took me to the movies, that when we walked out there, he reminded me, said, I apparently told him, "Dad, that's what I want to do when I grow up. I want to be like that bicycle repairman, build this wild sports car with innovations and things." And I started sketching cars, buying car magazines for all my pocket money, and I had stacks in my room when I was a kid, full of post-it notes, what I liked and didn't like about cars.
Yeah.
Because that's how I thought I would learn how to make a car. So why did they do it like this? That's different. Why is that mirror different? Why is that rubber seal? Why does that hinge look like that? And the brake caliper is there, and now it's there on this car. I wonder why. What does the suspension look like? Maybe it has something to do with that. And taking post-it, I don't like this, I like that, I like that. Stacks, meters of car magazines in my room. And I heard someone tell me that before the age of 11, 12, you shape your personality from your experiences. Of course, you're born a certain way, but then who you become as a person is a combination of DNA and your experiences up until about 11 or 12. And I was just a car nut and believing I would build a car at that time. So I was pre-programmed when I got older. I had no choice.
Yeah. I mean,
to execute on that crazy idea. And when I was 22, I started Koenigsegg, and now, whatever, 25 years later than that, or no more actually, 20.
A little bit more, yeah.
A little bit more, 30 almost. So,
wow.
So yeah, here we are.
What a little TV series can do to you, or the movie can do to you. And you're right. I mean, it's the phase where you get the most information to learn the easiest, and I think that really made that things happen. Would you say that you're stubborn in a sense?
I think I'm extremely stubborn, and I don't like to give up. Even maybe sometimes you should. It's just not in my DNA.
Yeah.
And I remember saying that when I started, I also read about other car companies and other startup car companies. And this was in '94. This was way before this EV startup trend that happened many years later. When I started, there were no startups in the car industry, at least not one that survived.
True.
And it was at a kind of a downturn in the economy. And I read in the car magazines, the sports car is dead. Many of the famous brands were struggling. And I said, well, what am I supposed to do? I'm going to build my car. I decided I'm going to build my car. I don't care if it's difficult or not. Of course I care, but it's worth it even if it takes everything I've got of energy or everything I have. I'm just going to do it because I need to do it. I need to get it out of my system at least, but I think I can build a car that is interesting, that someone will want to buy, and I will just do it. And then, of course, many years later, when I actually had a car, the world had turned around, sports cars were interesting again. The world was not in financial disaster in the early years, and And then I sold my first car, and one after another, and kept on going, and it worked.
It does, but I think also, I mean, you were in a phase where you also were becoming a young parent. The thing I want to touch is, without family, all this would not have happened.
Absolutely. Aurora and I, we worked together, not from the beginning. We met before I started the car company, but she was still studying, and then she went to other work and so on. And we never planned to work together.
Yeah.
But then in 2000, we said, I was on my knees and fighting to get the company up and running, and she was between jobs. I said, okay, let's just try it. And we never looked back. And without that, I don't think it would ever have worked. And our oldest son was born a year later, and then our son after that, a few years later, were two sons. And they've grown up under our desks. I mean, in Sweden, we have this fantastic paternity leave system, best in the world. We never made any use of that.
Oh, you can't, because it does not apply to self-employed people, unfortunately.
Exactly. And then, family is super important. My father helped me out in the early days. I started the company in 94. I thought it would take me about 1 year to make the first running car. That was
very optimistic,
a pipe dream.
Yes. Well,
and I had my first company since I was 19, actually.
Yeah.
I come from an entrepreneurial family, and the thing I knew you do is that you start something and you make something out of it.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to make cars, but I realized I can't just start making cars. That will be impossible. So I need to start a company where I can make some money so I can make cars. And I started a company then where I bought and sold things to make money.
Yes.
It just could be anything. I thought just I make money. So it was plastic bag, ballpoint pens with and frozen chicken and whatever I could make money on. And after 3 years, I had a little company with a few employees.
Yeah.
I had made some money. So I told myself, okay, I'm an entrepreneur. I apparently can run a company. I apparently can make money. And then I remember going to the newsstand, and I bought a magazine, and I saw the McLaren F1 on the front page. That was 94.
Yes.
And I said, that's sort of close to my vision and thinking and dreams. And now someone else has gone out and changed the mold a bit. And I said, if I don't do it now, I will never do it. And then I just sat down in front of my computer, and I had always been drawing in the computer since the 80s. And then I sketched up this car with 2 seats, mid-engine, wraparound screen, short overhangs, side air intakes, removable, stowable hardtop, because that didn't exist in our industry at the time. I said, that's a good differentiator. And then 2 years later, we had a running car. But after that 1 year, I mean,
that's also very quick. Let's face it. It's very
in
quick.
hindsight, I don't even know how that was possible.
Yeah.
We were 3-4 guys just in a garage doing it. Chassis from ground up, bodywork in carbon fiber. We drew and welded a suspension. Everything was cut. Apart from the drivetrain, everything was special.
Yeah.
So my father is an entrepreneur, and he saw me struggling. He came down to the south of Sweden, and he kind of ended up sleeping in my 2-room apartment for 2.5, 3 years. He put in what he had earned from his entrepreneurship there, and made it cover up for this impossible years. Very shoestring budget, not a lot of money still, but at least something. And then we got our first investors in, and then things could take off. So,
I mean, and this is what I really like, because your father's name is Jesko, and of course we all know there's a fantastic Koenigsegg Jesko model range, which we just also, by the way, Aurora's used to some fantastic world premieres. So we have the last of the Jesko line, if that's correct to say, which is called City Spear.
Correct.
Which has also horse racing analogy of that. So I really think that's something that's a very nice gesture to respect the ones who are supporting you. So you mentioned that the McLaren F1 was kind of a game changer, because it was a game changer in the automotive world.
I think so,
kind of, and of course, powered by a BMW engine.
Absolutely, beautiful one.
And tell us more. What do you think about that, and what is the DNA of that engine?
Well, I mean, as far as I understand, it was very much specially developed for the F1. I'm sure it's based off of something BMW had, but it was very different to their other V12s. Much lighter, much more compact, much more higher revving, much more higher output per liter. And the sound is just amazing. And I remember McLaren said they didn't even plan for that kind of power originally, maybe not even a V12 from their first sketches of the car. So, and I think it made the car to a large degree. I mean, to have that kind of engine in that car, apart from the radical layout, which is still amazing, it was such an important part of the whole experience.
And I think this is also what people sometimes really forget. The car world is a very close connected world, and you think they're all competition and they don't talk to each other, or they hate each other, or they don't respect each other. If you dive into the car world, it's a completely different picture you see, because they all have one idea of finding solutions, making things happen, and create something great. And I think, I mean, I would love to be sitting like a little mouse in the conversations Gordon Murray and the guys from McLaren had with BMW, what they need. Because with this English Kiwi approach to things and more easygoing approach.
Yeah, you have New Zealand, England, Germany, everything mixed in together.
Exactly.
So and you have this wonderful result.
But Christian, other megacar manufacturers choose to work with a partner from the OEM world, so from the automotive space, big corporations. You decide not to do that. Why?
Well, quite simply for the reason that my aim was to make the most extreme road-going sports car, homologated sports car there ever was. And not only was the aim to have the most power of any production car, but also to have the best handling and the lightest car and best aerodynamics, best ergonomics. I just understood that for anyone to be interested in buying anything from an unknown brand from Sweden, it has to stand out. So if I wanted a more powerful engine than anything that existed, I probably just can't buy it.
Yeah.
I would then have to ask a big existing car manufacturer to do something very, very special for us. But my budgets were very limited.
Yes, definitely.
So I had to make do with myself, if I put it like that, and figure it out, like the rest of the car.
Yeah.
So I guess if I would not have had budget constraints, maybe I would have chosen a different path. On the other hand, I like to come up with solutions, technical solutions, and do things our way, and that allowed us to do the engine that way as well. But the first engine we did was based off of not only our own parts. We bought a block from Ford and we built off of that.
Yeah.
But then already 3 years later, we started casting our own blocks and doing it very much from scratch when we had learned kind of how to do the other things. So and
it's the Koenigsegg way.
Yeah, and from there on we started doing our own engine controllers and everything from scratch, and later on also transmissions, and not only that, like groundbreaking, never seen before technologies, and adding and adding and adding. So it's important that everything is not the same out there as well. So it makes Koenigsegg a bit different and interesting in its own right. So I think it's just who we are in what we do. So,
and sometimes things that start off a necessity can have a very good outcome.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I didn't know if I would be able to pull that off.
Yeah.
But I had no choice but to try because I didn't have any other solution.
Yeah.
And then when it worked, you kind of get emboldened by that, and then can take the next step. So.
And if you look at the models that have been produced under the name of Koenigsegg, I'm sure that many of your little post-its with problems you could throw away because you find the solution to it.
True. Yes. I love kind of problems because it gives us as a company and my colleagues the chance to solve them.
Yeah.
And it's fun to solve problems.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can call them, and I don't actually maybe want to call things problems. They're challenges.
Yes, exactly.
The whole life is just a big challenge.
Yeah.
You should not see life as a problem.
No, true.
Especially when you choose to do something very exciting.
Yes.
That is challenging. It's not a problem.
I mean, look at us. We spent a fantastic weekend at the shorelines of Bastad here in Norway and see the most wonderful people, wonderful cars. And I mean, I always joke, I mean, my time at Classic Driver doing this, I said I never worked a day in my life.
Right, exactly.
Because it's just fun. I remember a quote from Picasso. Picasso said, "I'm too poor to hang one of a Picasso in my home. Let's bring this one into the Koenigsegg family.
I
Tell
had
me.
the same experience. I bought my first used Koenigsegg only 4 or 5 years ago.
Really? What is it?
It's a CCR, so it's the second generation.
Yeah.
The CC8S was the first one, so it's an iteration. It's actually the model that took the top speed record from the McLaren F1.
Here we
it
go.
became the world's fastest production car. So that's kind of an emotional thing.
Yes,
but it was
is.
actually also the only one for sale in the market at the time, which had a good enough price. Because I've always rolled in everything I've earned, I've always rolled back into the business.
Yes.
To make sure it can thrive and do as good as it can. And then the cars will just become more and more and more expensive, and newer cars become more expensive. But now I'm in the lucky position where I can indulge a little bit more, and yeah, so that's what was my first buy,
and someone who is, and I love that story, by the way, because I think it shows also that it's like being an entrepreneur is not easy.
True.
And even though it bears your name, it doesn't mean you can afford to have it at home.
No, and of course from the company I will have to pay pretty much full price. Otherwise, it's a kind of a tax evasion or something.
Exactly.
So,
and I mean, the Scandinavians doesn't like tax evasion.
No,
Like,
exactly.
That's the point. You don't no joke around, like the speeding as well, by the way.
True.
And I really like the fact that most of the autobahns in Sweden are 110 kilometers speed limit, and they're building the most fastest cars here in Ängelholm as well.
yeah, it's a bit of an oxymoron.
Of course, but I mean, there you can come to BMW country Germany and drive a bit on the autobahn
It's not
as
that
well.
far
if you
off.
want to.
And we have our own runway, which is helpful.
As well, and this is an exciting place where lots of records are happening, like the 0 to 400 and 0 and all these kind of things.
Yeah, it's not long enough for that. 0 to 300 we can do.
Sorry, I was mistaken. Yes.
Yeah, we have to take another runway for that. But we can reach 370 kilometers per hour with our latest cars with enough power. It's 1.4 kilometers long.
Yeah.
So we basically accelerate during 1 kilometer and then we have to brake and have a little bit of spare. So we can do 370 and we do that on a weekly basis. But it's wide. It's 50 meters wide.
Yes.
So we do slalom and we do ESP testing. It's just this fantastic playground to go out. Oh, it's snowing. Great, let's try that. Oh, it's raining. Let's try that. Oh, it's sunshine. We'll just go out 24/7, test.
Yeah, and it's really like 2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
2 minutes, and in between, the only challenge in between is a public running airport. Like
that's it. We're on an airport.
Yes.
We're on an old fighter jet airbase. So that's where we got this Ghost from the squadron that was there before. They got shut down in 2003, and we moved in there. They asked us to put the Ghost on the cars as a homage, and we did. And now it has a life of its own.
It does.
The Ghost is almost bigger than the Koenigsegg brand. It's a fan thing as well.
Exactly.
And it's kind of a bit light-hearted.
Yeah.
It's
like
nice.
with a twinkle in the eye. I think
exactly.
that's the. We have a little thing called the pit stop. This is a short series of questions. Is this or that? And I would like you to answer very quickly without too much thinking, and maybe we speak about some of the answers afterwards.
Yes.
Right? Here we go for the classic hard pit stop for Christian from Koenigsegg. Timeless design or cutting-edge innovation?
Wow. Two opposite sides almost, but you can combine them.
Christian, this or that?
I would say timeless design, because timeless design will last forever. Cutting-edge technology will be old tomorrow.
Thank you. Sporty agility or luxurious comfort?
Sporty agility, no question.
Black or colorful?
Ooh, silver.
Mint condition or patina with history?
Patina with history.
Customization or factory perfection?
Depends which brand, I guess. But not allowed to answer that. So,
Okay.
Customization.
Driving alone or driving with passengers?
Driving with passengers, if I have to choose.
Driving yourself or being driven?
Driving myself.
Road trip or racetrack?
Road trip.
It's a very specific question now. BMW M Performance or BMW Classic?
M Performance.
Autobahn or winding country road?
Winding country road.
Manual transmission or automatic?
Manual.
Petrol or diesel?
Petrol.
Electric or no car?
Electric.
Engine in the front, in the rear, or in the middle?
Middle.
I didn't know that. Inline 6 or V12?
I have complicated answers for these.
Yes, we jump on that answer. I promise you I will touch that.
I will say, did you say V6 or straight 6?
Inline 6?
Inline, okay, yeah.
Yes.
So I would say, if I really have to choose, but depending on the context, I would say inline 6.
Okay, thank you very much. That's it. We've done now. Because and let's jump on that question because you say it's very complicated to answer the question.
There's multiple, nuances, right?
And of course, this is a little bit of a fun part. It's just to show a little bit of that one. But you said that it's the inline 6. Why do you think inline 6 is very important?
Well, first of all, they can pretty much sound like a V12 if you tune them right.
True.
They are lighter.
Yes.
They're almost equally good balanced. And just for the sake of minimalism and a lightweight car, I could consider a super well-executed straight 6 instead of a 12, which is kind of a bigger engine. However, the 12 is the absolutely most balanced engine you can have with the most perfect pitch you can have. But it's a bigger engine, so it depends a little bit on the usage. But I had to choose, right? So
I think I agree, and I would like to
and
show
here
you
we have a good example.
The best. But I show you also something very interesting because we brought some fantastic cars from the Classic, some fantastic cars. So we have a BMW Z3 with a V12 in it, if I'm not mistaken. So also, and this is what I like at BMW, because they intend to do crazy things no one is doing because it's absolutely useless in the end to put that engine in that car, but it's just fascinating to show we can.
And there you can say factory perfect is modified in-house by the factory into something you cannot buy, but
exactly,
but for fun or excitement.
And I really like that spirit, and also so that they show these cars, or that they go around and show these cars.
It's playful.
It's playful, and that's what it's all about, because they kept the team kept the hoods open that we can just have a look at it after our conversation. I think
Z3 with a 12. That's
and also there are other fantastic creations. Like I like the X5 Le Mans, which is also here.
Oh, yeah.
So
I heard it's here. That's amazing.
That's really like big stuff. So and this engine is you will love it because it's it looks very simple, but it's the most complex things you could ever imagine, in my opinion, to get that into an X5. Unfortunately, Christian, we have to come to the end of the Classic podcast here, kind of live from the Aurora Concours in Båstad, Sweden, or being more precise, in Norwegian. And I think it means a lot to us that you joined us here.
My pleasure.
And also it shows a lot what we like to achieve with this podcast, because we want to share automotive passion. That's what
it's all about. I'm passionate about anything automotive that is meaningful and that has been that brings something forward and something exciting to the plate. And for sure, BMW is at the center point of that.
In this big world of big corporations, BMW always has a special place. And I say this with all my honesty, and I know I don't want to disrespect any other brand, but that's it, because that's the reason also why I'm doing this, because I really like the brand.
Yeah.
It's really like that.
You asked me which cars I drive.
Yes.
And I actually don't own a BMW myself, but my son and my wife, my two sons, they both drive BMW.
You see, it stays in the family.
So it's definitely a big brand in the family.
That would make everyone at the brand very happy and proud that the Koenigsegg family also drives BMWs.
It's probably
I think that's
the brand, the biggest percentage of cars we have is BMW.
Yeah. I love it. And as much as I would love to keep talking with Christian for hours, I hope you got some inspiration also from Christian's career and his life and his biography, because it shows that you have to be stubborn to achieve things, but not being ignorant. Again, two different things. And thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much, Christian. We know it was a very busy day and it was absolutely fantastic to have you here. And of course, this podcast wouldn't be able with a great team. And we have our Swedish crew around Gustav, who's very absolutely fantastic because we kept them waiting a little bit. We have our dear colleagues from the BMW Classic, who makes also possible that you see the cars in that way it is. I also would like to thank the whole team behind the podcast. Without them, this would not have been possible. Thank you, Christian, again. And I think it's just to say, hey, do.
Yeah, thank you, everyone, and hey, do. See you later.
Hey, do. Thank you very much.